CBC Evening News.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. Residents of Beckwith Street in the city are calling for a stronger police presence in the area. This after a number of shooting incidents, the most recent occurring early this morning. A 41-year-old man told police he was in that area when he was shot at by an unknown person or persons. He wasn't injured. However, 2 houses in the nearby area of Ashby Alley and Queen Street were damaged. Residents tell CBC the gunshots rang out around 3 this morning and lasted about 15 to 20 minutes. Several houses were damaged, leaving the occupants frightened, frustrated and angry. They say it's happening too often and they want the shooting to stop, but are afraid to speak out since, according to them, that could put their lives at risk.
This is the first time and no one in the neighborhood is speaking up because everybody's sort of frightened. I'm frightened too, but I got my 2 kids. And it's fair for them life and my life.
People frightened because they don't know who's going to come back for them and do them something.
Others think a heavier police presence is needed in the area. One man says the elderly folk are particularly vulnerable.
We have a lot of senior citizens around here. The lady across the street is over near 100 years old. 99 years. Yeah, 99 years. And, you know, they need to think a little bit better about the things that they're doing, you know. And the police also need to do things, and government, whoever, you know, need to look into these things more serious.
After last night, I think and I feel that the police should be seen or come out here more often and more regular, because a lot of little children just be out here, a lot of old people live out here, and all this gun shooting and stuff and things needs to stop.
They say it's fortunate that no one was hurt. A man has been charged with manslaughter in connection with the death of his 3-month-old daughter. Little Akila Bradshaw was found unconscious on May 2nd and taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. She later died. Police have charged her father, 23-year-old Akida Bradshaw, in relation to the death. He appeared at the District D Magistrates Court and was remanded to the psychiatric hospital. There's a threat of stepped-up industrial action from the Barbados Workers' Union, including the hotel sector. According to General Secretary Tony Moore, it stems from the alleged failure of a major hotel to honor a wages accord. She was speaking during a press conference at BWU headquarters earlier today. Unless employers start honoring their commitments, Barbados could soon see industrial action on a scale not seen in recent history. That's the assurance from union boss Tony Moore.
We are tired of receiving commitments and having those commitments just remain that, commitments that are not followed through by action.
Ms. Moore says many of the island's businesses are shortchanging their employees, listing customs guards at the various ports of entry as examples. She blames rumors of industrial action on the lack of job security experienced by some of the workers.
Where permanent officers have some option or recourse if following a 2-year secondment things don't work out under the new arrangement of the Barbados Revenue Authority, a temporary guard has no place to go.
The private sector, according to Ms. Moore, is also guilty. She says Sandy Lane Hotel remains the only property which has failed to deliver on a promised 3% salary increase.
If we allow Sandy Lane to get away with not meeting a commitment, not adhering to an agreement, then what is to stop all the other establishments within the grouping this year or in years to come?
Even leading security company G4S is being accused of shortchanging workers.
They're calling workers they're calling workers stewards, even as these workers are performing the functions of security officers. And the deliberate intent in that case is to pay stewards $7 an hour, as opposed to the almost $9 an hour that the security officers would receive.
Ms. Moore says the BWU has passed the negotiation stage, and unless businesses make swift changes, industrial action could be on the horizon. Customs employees represented by the Unity Workers Union will continue their go-slow action for as long as it takes. They are protesting moves by government to integrate that department into the Barbados Revenue Authority. While stressing time is on their side, General Secretary of the UWU, Caswell Franklin, reiterates the transfer is a bad idea, saying it will cause more harm than good. Only members of that union took part in the action at the Bridgetown port yesterday. There was reported disruption as a result.
They have not articulated exactly what they want to do. They just want to start revenue. They just want to go, and workers are expected to jump on the bandwagon as though nothing is out of order. Well, everything is wrong. And these officers have legitimate expectations. They are expected to be appointed to the positions that they're in, and they will not be going over to any revenue authority, any lower position than they're already in now.
Mr. Franklin wants government to sit and talk with the workers. Cable and Wireless's thousands of broadband customers in Barbados can expect an upgrade in their packages at no extra cost. This is one of the benefits they will enjoy as a result of the merger between the telecommunications company, which trades as Lyman Barbados, and its competitor Flow. This revelation from Chief Executive Officer of Cable and Wireless Communications, Phil Bentley.
You know, if it's, I don't know, $80, per a contract for, let's say, 2 megs. I'm making these numbers up, so I don't have these numbers in front of me, but $80 for a 2 meg speed from Lime and $80 for 10 meg. We will move all Lime customers up to 10 meg straight away, and that's a commitment we made to the FTC. So whatever the better offer is between the two companies, we will move our customers to that better offer. So, you know, the net effect, you should be seeing faster speed for the same price.
The Barbados Water Authority wants to reduce its energy costs by 40%. This will be done through a pilot project at the Golden Ridge Reservoir using some new equipment. Maintenance engineer trained in photovoltaic installation, Nathan Hart, says the equipment helps the reservoir to reduce its energy use by about 10%.
The initial bill for this Golden Ridge station upwards in November was about $77,000 a month. Because of the reduction in fuel that we had recently in the last couple of months, it has reduced to $45,000 a month. But we are not resting on that premise that the fuel costs will continue to remain low, but moving towards the expansion of this project. And with the variable frequency drives that my supervisor, Wayne Richards, to my right, is talking about, with that and solar connected together, we are looking towards a 40 to 50% reduction at this particular site and several other sites that we have right now waiting for approval.
Chairman Dr. Atlee Brathwaite says by reducing the energy costs, the BWA will be able to redirect its resources to increase efficiency.
There are means that we have to put in the water meters, new water meters that certainly are very efficient and make certain that we are able to get the money for the water we produce. We have money to reduce what we call non-revenue water. That means leakages, because a lot of water is leaked out of the system, and obviously you don't get any revenue for that water that is leaked.
A massive bush and cane fire, which spanned acres of land across some Christchurch communities, kept fire officers busy today. Officials tell CBC News this blaze started around 5:45 this morning and was still burning well into the late afternoon. It affected neighborhoods such as Stable Grove North, Small Ridge, Fort George Heights, Edie Village, and other areas. The intense smoke forced a number of businesses and schools like the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic and the Blackman and Gollop Primary Seam here to abort classes and close their doors early. 3 water tenders, 1 from Worthings and 2 from the Bridgetown headquarters, along with 12 officers under the command of Station Officer Mervyn Mears, responded to the blaze. We'll have more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you think an increased police presence will make Nelson Street safer? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results at the end of the news.
Dear Clark, I've made a fascinating discovery: the institutional water cooler. Its gravitational pull sucks people from their workstations at the busiest times of day to stand around it and chat about emerging global trends like, will pink be in fashion next season? Meanwhile, the world slows to a stop as it waits in line to be served. I don't see that trend at Globe Finance.
Globe Finance. Think outside the bank.
When it comes to their financial service, slow is out, swift is in.
Today, you can do everything in just one click. Even keep your toilet clean and fresh. Introducing Lysol Quick Gel, a single-use applicator that helps you avoid contact with germs. Just click it in and recycle it to enjoy continuous clean freshness with every flush for a full week. Lysol Quick Gel keeps it clean with one click. Lysol Quick Gel. Start helping.
Yes, they are back, and funnier than ever. Laugh Out Loud Caribbean Part 2, Sunday, May 24th, Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. The laughing begins at 7 p.m. These are the people that coming to hurt Wanna Bellies. From Jamaica, IT and Fancy Cat. From Trinidad and Tobago, Errol Fabian and Nikki Crosby. From Guyana, Chow Pow. From Barbados, Trevor Eastman, Smokey Burke, Mad, and the Laugh It Off crew. Admission $50 from all Ticket Pal outlets. Sponsored by ICBL, Infinity on the Beach, The Nation Publishing, and Starcom Network. This one guy got you bent up. A Laugh It Off production.
Our life, our restaurant, our family means everything to us. A strong headache, then the pain goes away and our passion comes in.
Panadol Ultra, a combination of ingredients clinically proven to relieve the toughest pains, strong enough to relieve even the pain of migraine. Panadol Ultra, when strong pain is gone, life takes its place.
Party cruises are quickly catching on in Barbados, with several every week, mainly on weekends. And as the trend grows, the Barbados Coast Guard is issuing a caution to boat owners and operators. It is concerned with the number of passengers on these vessels. The Coast Guard tells CBC News these vessels at times exceed their carrying capacity. In a statement, the Coast Guard says it has some safety concerns relating to the quantity of life jackets on board. Where these life jackets are stored and accessibility to them is another worry. Operators have been reminded there are laws that regulate the way they should operate within Barbados's territorial waters. The Coast Guard says it has to respond frequently to calls for assistance from captains to remove and or to escort the vessels to its mooring area. Complaints received include fights on board, excessive use of illegal drugs and alcohol. And in one instance, they were called to remove a vagrant who had stowed away on board. There's an urgent need for performance appraisals to be used in Barbados. The suggestion from Labour Minister, Senator Dr. Esther Bayer, during debate in the Upper House on the Customs Amendment Bill 2015. She says in the absence of an appraisal system, it is just too difficult to deal with workers who don't perform as they should.
Without that being written in somebody's record somewhere. I can see a situation where somebody is going to go to court, somebody is going to go to the union and say, why was I not moved? What evidence do you have? So unless there's evidence, unless there's documentation to support it, unless somebody is going to bell the cat or blow the whistle or whatever term we want to use, to do so is just essentially going to be going on a hunch or going on a rumor. And we all know that you really can't do it that way. There is still a need, and I make the call again, for proper performance appraisal, not just in customs, but across government.
Barbadians will soon get an insight into the life of the latest candidate for beatification in the Catholic Church, the late Archbishop Monsignor Oscar Romero. It comes as a lecture is scheduled to be delivered by Jesuit priest Father Michael Campbell Johnston at the St. Francis Parish Church Hall in St. James this Friday. Father Johnston tells CBC the lecture is timely and significant as Monsignor Romero is set to be beatified the following day, May 23rd, in El Salvador. In the Catholic faith, beatification is the final stage before sainthood. Father Johnston says his lecture will focus on the life of the late Archbishop, who was killed 35 years ago.
It'll be about the life of Archbishop Romero and why the Church considers him important and what his importance is for us today, because he was a very great man, a very great bishop, and is worshipped by the people of his country, El Salvador. So I will try to explain why we should give him some importance too and understand better what he did.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on the question: do you think an increased police presence will make Beckwith Street safer?